I'm Ankur Agarwal and we are in the Alishtam Home Brew channel. Today we have Ramya with me who just returned from a wonderful trip to Coorg. So how was your Coorg trip?
It was really great. It's a very beautiful place. I think all of us should go there at least once. And then I came across a lot of coffee estates and I found a lot of people making wine at home.
Wow, wines at home. Yeah. It must be a very backbreaking process.
Yeah, I was fascinated by it myself, but I really don't know how they go about that procedure. Do you know how it goes?
Sure. Let's make the simplest of the wines today. One of the simplest wines is the Peasant Hooch.
Okay, what is that? I've never heard of this name before.
This is the wine that you can make from ingredients that even peasant has access to. What you need is some fruit juice, some yeast, some sugar, pectin if you require it, but pectin is difficult to get, but we will be using pectin also today.
I see we're using packed juice. What if this is not available?
So you can use, almost all the stores carry a Tetra Pak juice with them.
Okay.
These Tetra Pak juice are preservative free. So that is good for you because you are not ingesting any more chemicals.
Okay.
You can use fresh juice also.
Okay.
However, the problem with the fresh juice is you have to first juice it before, wherein you lose about 50% of the fruit that you are pulping.
Yeah.
One, and secondly, you would need to add a little bit of Camden or a preservative just to kill off all the wild mold.
Okay. Yeah.
So in that case, what you'll do is you'll propose, for example, you take about 3 kgs of grapes or any fruit that is available.
Okay.
You'll juice it out. So you'll get about 1.5 kgs of juice.
Okay.
You're going to add about 1/3 of a teaspoon of Camden.
Okay.
That is about 0.5 grams of Camden per liter.
Okay. Okay.
You're going to add that, and then you're going to cover this with a lid for about 24 hours.
Okay. Fine. So we have a already sterilized container,
Yes.
right? Okay.
So here, everything that you use in the fermentation process has to be sterilized.
Okay.
You don't want bacteria to coming in multiplying. It's
Yeah.
like making curd.
Yeah, I think we have a video on how to sterilize the equipments.
Yes.
You can check it out in one of our links.
Sure.
Now I'll be taking 250 ml of the juice that I've got.
The reason why we are taking a sample is we want to know how much sugar is there in this sample. It is important to identify, to measure the sugar so that we add the excess sugar accordingly, and we also know how much alcohol is generated.
Now I've taken 250 ml in a measuring cylinder. Now we'll measure the sugar level in it. The measuring has been shown in our previous video.
So you can see that this will have a Brix of about 15, which means that 15% of this sugar is having liquid, having sugar. Now, in order to achieve something like a 10% wine, most of the Peasant Hooch is actually very high wine content, but we will go aim for 10%. For a 10% wine, I would need close to about 18% sugar. So I would be adding some sugar. I've measured the sugar for you, and I'm adding that. I want a little bit higher, so we have taken up close to about 90 grams of sugar in a liter of wine. So we'll pour this. Did you sanitize this as well?
Yeah, we have sanitized everything.
Oh, this is important.
Yeah.
Some people forget to sanitize the equipment that they use, and that leads to a lot of mold infection. Why don't you pour the bottle as well?
Let's do it.
As you can see, this grape juice is already very clear, so we will not be using pectin. However, if you are using fresh fruit juice or juices which are not so clear, then about 5 grams of pectin for every 15 liters of juice is required. The dry wine yeast has to be hydrated before.
Okay.
There's a separate video which talks about how to hydrate it. We have hydrated and kept it for you. So, Ramya, why don't you pour this hydrated yeast into must. This is called must, M-U-S-T. So in the prison, they did not have an airlock. So what they did was they would not fully tight the lid, keep it semi-open so that the carbon dioxide can go out, and with the positive pressure, the oxygenation will not happen.
Okay.
Some people also use a balloon.
Okay.
If balloon is not available, a latex glove or anything of latex can also be used to cover the entire lid and vent out the oxygen. In our case, we have access to good quality airlocks, so we are going to use an airlock. What we did was we use a hot iron or a soldering iron rod to make a hole, and then we can insert the airlock inside. So you're going to tighten this up
Okay.
and attach an airlock and wait for about 4 to 7 days.
Okay.
There's no need to, if you're using juice, you do not need to stir it.
Okay.
If you are using fresh fruit juice, then you have to stir it. You can
Okay.
lift the entire jar, give it a swirl,
Okay.
so that the mold does not get deposited on the top.
Should the stirring be done often, or is it?
Once in a day for the next 2-3 days.
Okay, fine.
Right now, the active yeast is there, so that's the reason why this is not so clear. But after when the wine is done, you would see the yeast will start settling in the bottom.
Okay.
There will be a yeast deposit, a yellow yeast deposit, and the wine will be there. You can pour the rest of the wine, except the yeast deposit, into your jar and
Okay.
enjoy it. Yeah. So Ramya, we have added yeast to the grape wine,
Okay.
grape juice, and in 4 to 7 days, this wine will be ready.
Okay.
Nothing else is needed from you.
Okay.
Only thing is, once you go home, put an airlock into it.
Yeah. Fine.
And once the
I'll
bubbling
do that.
stops, you can take out the bottom sediment,
Okay.
decant the whole thing.
Okay.
You can also play around with some crazy recipes. You can make
Okay.
some wonderful cocktails with it.
Okay.
You can freeze it so to make something like a wine-induced popsicle.
Okay. Yeah, sure. I'll try all of that. Now I'll take this home and keep it for the next 7 days and see how it tastes.